This episode is brought to you by CarterComics.com. It's your one-stop shop for all your comic needs, whether it be graded or raw. Carter Comics has got it all. All you gotta do is go to CarterComics.com, fill your card up with all their amazing comics. Use the discount code FREAKNET, FREAKNET. Save you 10% at checkout. Not only on their website, but also at their eBay account. And the link to eBay can be found on their homepage at CarterComics.com. Again, CarterComics.com is your one-stop shop for all comic needs. What's up, everybody? I am Travesty.
And I'm Cartoon Joe.
And welcome back to the season finale of this freaking show. It is a weekly podcast, a little bit of something, and a whole lot of nothing. Finally wrapping up this season of the podcast.
I honestly had no idea. That's dope.
You know what? I got a 50-50 shot being right about that. I think this is episode 50. I'm not quite sure. But
a nice little spring break, so it's fine.
Yeah, I think it is. And that's it's busy, which is a good thing. You know, there's a lot going on. Most of it's work for me. Everything's just been wild. But I'm glad to be back with you. I'm glad we're able to talk. Something happened to me last week. It was last week. I kind of wanted to talk about, and it's a weird thing. It's a goofy thing. It's a personal thing that I feel other people have gone through, and to foreshadow it, I think I finally felt depression.
All right.
So I don't know. I don't know what it. I don't want to assume that's what it was, but we're gonna talk about that in a minute. I kind of want to talk a little bit too about the MCU.
All right.
Because I don't want to talk about I don't want the season finale of our season to be all like doom and gloom and talking about my feelings. I want to talk about something that Dr. Doom and Gloom.
Dr. Doom and Gloom.
Nice. But before any of that, Joey, happy belated Easter.
Oh, thank you.
Happy belated completion of Lent. Happy belated Palm Sunday. I don't know. What we I think we talked about Palm Sunday. I can't remember. It's been a minute.
It has been a minute.
Yeah. Hope everything's well. What's new? What's exciting going on with you?
Yeah. What is exciting? What's going on with me? I don't want to share too much loudly publicly, but my plan to help our budget deficit at the church by renting spaces out may finally be coming to fruition.
That's cool.
And if all goes well, we should be knocking out about half of our budget deficit for next year.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah. So I'm thrilled about that.
Yeah. For those who real quick side note, I don't mean to interrupt you. I just want people to realize we're recording this evening. So Joe's not drinking wine at 8 a.m. in the morning on a Saturday.
Right.
So just everyone knows that we're moving the recording dates to weeknights, back to weeknights, because with the nice weather and how everything's great outside and projectively so, we want to kind of keep our weekends open and available to enjoy. So we're moving back to a week. Right now, Wednesday nights, pending the availability and everything, but we can always move it around and figure some stuff out. But anyways, go ahead. Yeah. So supplementing the is that called supplementing the deficit? I don't know what it's called.
Yeah. We're supplementing our income, having an income.
Yeah.
I don't know. So that's good. I also, just as a sidebar, I'm not just pounding straight wine. This is about half water.
He's lying, but that's fine. Yeah. The other half that's water, Jesus also turned into wine. So
right.
Yeah.
Sure. Anyway. So that's going great. We met with our preschool teachers today to see what next year looks like, and as of right now, we're just under what our budget obligation is.
Gotcha.
But the thing is that like Chicago Public Schools doesn't let people know if their kids got into the public school for another week.
Okay.
So,
Kinda wild.
probably a week from tomorrow, we'll get a bunch of panicked parents going, "Do you have spots available still?" And we'll say, "Yes, please. Please give us your money."
What's the size of a class in your church? The expectation, I guess.
Yeah. So, I mean, we try to max them out, and the max we can handle right now is about 20.
Okay. If I give you a Chicago neighborhood name, could you tell me if it's not far off from where your church is?
Maybe.
Brynford Park.
Brentford Park. It should be pretty close, I would think.
Brynford Park. Okay. I'm planning a trip up there soon. Remember a while back we were talking about
Oh yeah, it is very close. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I don't want to give away the name of your church or location of it and shit like that, but a while back we were talking about something on the podcast. I can't remember what it was, but it was leading up to us having a conversation about family genealogy and stuff like that. And through my just adventure of figuring out my great grandparents on my dad's side, I found that they are buried in a Bohemian National Cemetery off of Pulaski, and Foster Avenue.
Nice. I know exactly where that's at. Yes, it's very
Yeah.
close to my church.
Yeah. So I did put on Find a Grave. I went to findagrave.com. That's how I located them. And I did submit a request for hopefully for somebody to go over and take a photo of them for me. It hasn't hit yet. So I'm like, you know what? As much as I'm not a big fan of driving into the city per se, I think this is far enough out of the city where it's just more like driving to like neighborhoods and stuff like that. And
yeah,
it might also
near downtown.
Yeah, I think it also might be one of the things where, like, instead of taking the highway, I'll take like a leisure day, and maybe I'll just take Pulaski Road all the way up and just say, "Ah, the hell with it,"
Oh yeah, that's doable.
Yeah,
Very doable.
Yeah, it's just like it's something going to be like a probably like an early morning weekend kind of thing, or maybe I'll go early morning weekday while I'm on vacation at the end of the month.
Nice.
Just less traffic, I think less people out and everything, but. I think maybe early morning weekend there'll be less people out, but I think who knows? We'll see. I want to get up there and I want to get the pictures of it. And I was looking at it, and obviously I saw a neighborhood. It's like I think Joey's church is over there, but okay. I'm glad you supplemented. Or
yeah, and we're also in talks. I mean, nothing is set in stone.
Yeah.
And certainly nothing is guaranteed at all until we have a contract written and signed.
Gotcha.
But our current conversations that are leading toward the contract feel really good and very positive. So feeling good about that. There's another person I'm planning to meet over the summer to maybe rent the rest of the time. So
that's cool. And you're just looking as far as the
just about any space we'll rent.
Any space, okay.
Yep, I need to put it up on the website. I don't know why I haven't done it yet, but I actually have like a fee schedule for all of the spaces, and obviously if you're using them regularly, like if you're renting the space as a tenant, that's going to be a different price. But like if you want to just have a birthday or something, you'd be able to go to the church website and find what it would cost to rent that. So
I think the the baby showers I think are like it's always like a church basement. Like there's always a church basement that's rent out for like baby showers and stuff like that.
Yep. So we have a couple of great spaces upstairs rather than the basement, but yeah.
Oh, do you guys have a basement?
Yeah, but we use it for our preschool, and so it's just like
okay,
yeah.
Okay. You guys got a cellar?
No.
Man, I don't want to see a cellar. I want to see some cellars in life.
Yeah, there are some cool ones out there. I took a tour of a church way on the north side, like up almost by Evanston.
Okay.
I think it's the Church of the Atonement, and it's an Episcopal church, and they actually in their basement have effectively a cellar. Like it's a concrete floor, but it's covered in a layer of dirt, and they have a bunch of root vegetables down there for their food pantry, and it's neat. They also have a kind of like a mausoleum in their church building. They have a special name for it, but like I actually found a. I'll send you the picture, but I found a potential relative of mine in the wall of that church.
Like same last name or a different, like a
Same last name.
okay. Dang.
Same last name, and that was very surprising.
That's
Texted my dad and grandma about it. They were both like, "Yeah, we don't know."
And that's the thing that sucks the most when it comes to like like trying to figure stuff out like that, because like it's like when I was trying to figure out my grandma's siblings, and I kept slowly finding out there was like more and more and more and more of them. I think there was like a total of 7 of them.
Wow.
I think she was one of 7. And it's just like I found them all. I found all of them except for one. And she did exactly what she was looking to do, because from my understanding, the story that was told to me was she was living in Colorado with her husband and child. Bad marriage, not a good guy. And I gotta move this over. Whatever. Not a good guy. She apparently left, head towards Missouri, changed her last name. Nice. And I'm searching for it and everything, and like I know her name was Mary. So I'm looking up like, okay, Mary Nemeth, that's my grandma's maiden name. She changed her last name to a weird name. My dad says she changed her last name to some. I'll tell you it off air because I don't want to put that much laundry on. But it was like related to some kind of like space show or whatever. But apparently she was a little off. But her name was Mary, and that's what everyone can say. Her name was Mary, and I found it. I found obituaries of her siblings, my grandmother's siblings, that say survived by Sister Mary and some of that. But when I found a 1940 census of the family, there was no Mary, but there was a Mattie, Mattie.
Interesting.
And the last name was spelled wrong too, like because their last name was Nemeth, but on the census it was spelled Nameth. Wild stuff. So I tried Googling like Mattie Nemeth, and the only thing that popped up was that census, and nothing pops up for Mary Nemeth. So it's interesting, but I didn't find her with her changed last name in Missouri, but I did find somebody with that same last name, and according to my aunt, that might be her daughter, but I'm not I'm just doing this all for like my own peace of mind. I have no ambition of reaching out to like anybody. Yeah. Well, the biggest reason because Mary Nemeth's daughter is technically the same age of my dad and my aunt, and I don't know if they have children, whatever. And I don't want to sit there and just assume and point fingers based on. But I've looked up the area of where they live, and it's not a good neighbor. It's a good area. It's not a good neighborhood and stuff like that. And the last thing I want to do is reconnect with a family member who may not be safe to reach out to. So, who knows? Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I don't know. It's just nerve wracking. Like last thing I want to do is get somebody involved in my life who just might mess it up. So,
sure.
But yeah, but it's cool to kind of travel down and stuff. But yeah, so my dad's parents are the ones that are buried in the Bohemian Cemetery. And actually, I also found out that my grandpa's mom died in like her mid-20s from TB.
No way.
So, yeah. So my grandpa had like 2 half sisters from like two different people. So
did she stay in the sanitarium up here too?
you know what? Somebody asked me that same question when I brought it up to them, and I have no idea.
Fair enough.
Like I remember like because like there was a letter that somebody wrote my aunt claiming to be my grandpa's half sister's great granddaughter or granddaughter, maybe granddaughter. No, yeah, wait. Yeah, granddaughter. Yeah, granddaughter. Yeah. So I think she's like around my age, maybe a little bit older. So grandpa's mom was married to somebody else before she got married to my grandpa's dad, and they had a child. And when she got pregnant, she came in from Austria, married this guy, got pregnant, flew back to Austria to have the baby. Then came back. That guy, not a good guy. Common theme back in the day, not a lot of good people.
Yeah.
So not a good guy. She left him. Ironically, also Missouri. Maybe I'm in Iowa, but I think it was Missouri. So she moves to Chicago, meets Andrew, who is my grandpa's dad. Apparently owned a bakery. So now my grandpa's dad has this stepdaughter. And the letter states that this girl, so my grandpa's sister, got kicked in the face by a delivery horse. This is how long ago this was. A delivery horse.
Sure.
To which they sued the delivery company.
Yeah.
They got a settlement, and he kept the money. I guess, whatever. Not a good guy. From the letter stated, this woman's grandmother, who was the stepdaughter to my grandpa's dad, he was not a good guy. He was mean to her.
Right.
Whatever. He's Austrian, hungry, angry people.
Yeah. Especially 100 years ago.
Yes. So so this girl's mother and my grandpa's dad, they had my grandpa, and then they had another son. Can't remember his name at this point. So there's three of them. So at this time, grandpa's mom had TB. She got sick. I think she passed away at 26. I think it was 26. When she passed away, she put the kids in foster care because he couldn't raise them, couldn't handle it. I don't know what it is. He put them in foster care. I guess foster care back in the day was gender separated. So the girl went to one foster and the brothers went to another. Well, he came and got the brothers. From what I could tell, he didn't go back and get the daughter.
Cool.
But it was his, yeah, I guess it technically was his stepdaughter. I guess that's his mentality. Still crappy to do. Right. I don't know where her dad was in any of this, but he didn't go back for her. From my understanding, if I read the letters right, I'd have to go back and reread them. But from what I understand, though, is she was adopted by a decently wealthy family in Illinois.
Nice. Good for her.
Yeah. I don't know. Yes. I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but there's a mill in my hometown called Rathje Mill. And the people that adopted her's last name was Ratchie. So
no way.
I don't know if it's the same family, but I heard they were fine. And she was okay. She was probably way better off. Probably a Matilda situation, probably walled off. My grandpa ends up getting remarried, or my great grandpa ends up getting remarried to another person, and they have a daughter and stuff like that. So I can't find that daughter. I can't find that daughter other than the letters and stuff. I can't find the son. All I can find is my grandpa, and I found these two. So to answer your question, I have no idea if she stayed in any asylum or anything like that. I'm definitely going to deep dive into her too. Because regardless, that's my great grandmother, and I kind of want to learn about her, and I want to learn about my great grandfather too, even though he seemed to be an a-hole. But
you got to know where you got it from. See if you came by it honestly.
I got to figure it out, yeah. Because from what my understanding is, like every time I come across something with my family, somebody was always just angry, So it's just like. I'm like, I wonder if there was anyone out there that was like obnoxiously Midwestern sarcastic, or if everyone was just plain old assholes. I don't know.
Right.
But on the topic of my emotions, we'll talk about this real quick. And then we can talk about Thunderbolts. I was in I was in a drive-through of the pharmacy last week, and I was picking up my medication, and I was sitting there waiting for my medication to come out and everything. And I'm sitting there looking at my driver's license for some reason. I mean, I know they're going to ask for it, so I just had it out and just kept flipping it back and forth. And as I'm sitting there, there's nothing playing on the radio. I just want to give them my attention whenever they do come back. And I had this weird, like this out of nowhere feeling of like sadness.
Yeah.
Like just completely out of nowhere. I probably, if I wanted to, I probably could have started crying right then. And I don't know what it was. Like, it was just like, I was sitting there and I'm just like, huh. My mood has changed negatively. I just don't feel right. Like something just feels like really off. And at first I was thinking to myself, is it one of these things where it's like, oh, something doesn't feel right? Is something going on somewhere? Like some people say, like, he's like, wow, it's wild. So, somebody passed away. And I felt something like it was like I was thinking that like something is happening somewhere. And that's my and I'm subconsciously or whatever it is, I am feeling that like something's happening somewhere. But I just started thinking like maybe I'm just sad for some reason. Like it's like there's something happening right now where I just don't feel right. And the thing is, like I can never sit there and I can't diagnose depression. I mean, I don't know if I know what it is. It's like I know when I feel sad, I know when I feel stressed, I know when I feel anxiety. I couldn't tell you if I've ever experienced depression or not. I don't know. I mean, obviously, up until this point, I've always told myself I've never been depressed. I'm not depressed.
Well, it manifests in a lot of different ways.
Yeah. Like maybe it's like one of the things like, and again, like I don't, for anyone out there who knows depression, maybe there's levels of the extreme of depression. Like maybe it doesn't have to be an absolute rock bottom to be depressed. Maybe, you're just dipping the toe into it a little bit and feel like, this sucks. Like maybe it is. Maybe stress and maybe anxiety and maybe just a bad day is in some way a mild form of depression. Like maybe it is. But the problem was, it wasn't that I was feeling sad. It wasn't like that was even the problem with all this. Like I know I've kind of felt bummed at times. This has felt worse, but I mean, there are times I felt bummed. But for some reason, what made it worse was the fact that when I was sitting there, sad, lady comes over and gives me my medication and everything, and I'm getting ready to drive off. What made everything worse was I had this concept of that there was not one person I could call at that moment that would make me change the way I feel. Like, and I know there's people I could have called. And I could have called my mom. I know I could have called Carl, my dad. I could have called Sherry, Ashley, Nick. I could have called you. I'm sure I could have called somebody and said, hey, something's not right, and I don't know what it is. And I'm sure people would hear it out. People would talk to me about it and everything. But the thing is, like, in my mind, it's like I could call Joey.
Yeah.
But I feel like it'd be a burden. And the thing is, like, and I shouldn't feel that way because I know you. And I know it wouldn't have been. Even if you were busy, which 4 o'clock, was it 5? I think it was like around 5:30 or whatever. But even around 5:30, I know you would take the time out to talk and listen. And I know my mom would feel the same way. My dad would probably be like, well, you gotta be, depressed about, I was like, like why, what were you doing or something? It's like he'd show compassion in his own way.
Right.
I know there are people out there that I probably could have easily talked to, but the problem was for me, and I think I kind of get it. It just feels like is it a burden for me to sit there and say, I'm going to interrupt so-and-so's life to talk to them about a problem I do not know what it is. Because I know if I sit there and say, something's wrong. What is it? I don't know. What's going on? I do not know. I was just in the drive-through at doctor's store and I just felt sad. Why? I don't know. And that's to me is the definition of bothering somebody. That's to me the definition of inconveniencing somebody. It's like, because in my mind, and again, I know nobody would do it, but that's just how my mind was working in this moment.
Sure.
Like I can imagine nobody doing it, but
of all the things you described, that is the one thing that is standing out to me as like, yeah, whenever I've been depressed, that is exactly the thing I feel is any person I reach out to for help is going to feel that I'm a burden to them.
Yeah.
I mean, I've talked before, like with my dad, about feeling what's the social media way safe way of saying it?
Unalive.
Unalival.
Unalive.
I'm trying to make it like an adjective. Yeah. I've had ideation before, and it's not something I'd ever act on. But I was telling my dad about it one time. I was like, "This is why I can't own a pew pew." Sorry, I'm learned that this is what you have to do to be on YouTube now.
Yeah. That's
I'll probably never do it again, but I just thought it was funny to try it. Anyway, I was telling him about that, and he was like, well, first of all, I'd be very disappointed in you. And I was like, my brother, my dad, I love you. I appreciate where you're coming from. I totally, I'm doing fine now, so I can laugh about it. But like, my guy, if I'm ever at that point, I already feel like I've disappointed you. We're past it.
Yeah. It's like, thank you for sharing your feelings, but
right. Thank you for confirming what I already knew as I'm dropping.
Yeah, I'm just gonna tell you right now, like that. Like I know the last thing that's gonna go through my mind, your feelings ain't the second thing. It's just not.
Yeah.
But
I appreciate it. It's the same thing, right? It's the like I'm trying to let you know I love you and I don't want you to do that.
Yeah,
in my own way, and I'm like, I appreciate that. But
and that's where the biggest thing is, like, I know I'm not the easiest person to really ever talk to. I know I come across with like a personality trait of like, I will listen to you, but I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, from my opinion, what I think you should hear. But that's the expectation of when you ask me something. Right. And it's like, and I always appreciate hearing people's opinions and people's thoughts, especially if I'm asking, it's like, but I don't know, for some reason, it's like, I've always enjoyed talking to people about their problems, hearing people out, because I've always wanted to be, if anything in this world, somebody could turn to.
Sure.
But for some reason, when the shoe's on the other foot, when the situation is reversed, I don't want to be that burden to somebody. I don't want to ruin somebody who like if I was to call you up one day and say, "Hey Joey, what's up, man? What are you doing?" And you're telling me, like, me and the wife just went on a walk in the park. They just put this new path in this forest reserve near my house, and we rode bikes over there, and we just went for a walk. They had these spots that kind of describe these plants and these animals and these like creatures and stuff like that. And we haven't done it in a long time, but we were finally able to do something like that. And at the end of the path and everything, there was this peanut, this cashew, like roasted cashew stand, and we got these roasted cashews, and I've had them in a while, but I absolutely love them. And
they're pretty great.
Right? Yeah, we were able to get on the bike, and when we were on our way home, we just saw this little bistro thing that just opened up in our neighborhood, and we were stopped off, and we were able to sit outside. It was a beautiful day. We had these paninis, and I haven't had a panini in a while. All this stuff. I was like, it's been a blessed day. How about you? And I'm like, yeah, it's not bad. Because then in my mind, it's like, I can't tell him how I'm feeling right now, because that's just going to ruin every good feeling he had today, that his brother just does not feel right. And the reason he doesn't feel right is that he doesn't know why he's not feeling right. And then there's a worry. So all those good things goes away. That's how my mind works. On the flip side, I call you up. Hey, Joe, how you doing? How's your day? Took a book off the shelf, landed on my foot, broke my foot. I'm sitting in the emergency right now. Yeah, I'm sitting in the emergency right now, the urgent care. They're saying my insurance isn't going through or whatever. Like, apparently pinky toes are covered, but big toes aren't. And there's a deductible on it that, that they say they have to x-ray it in order for them to diagnose the issue, but they won't, x-ray it unless I pay the copay on it. Not only that, on my way here, the car started making a funny noise after I just dropped $8,000 into it. But yeah, no, I mean, other than that, everything's great. How about you? Yeah, I guess nothing really, because why would I want to pile on to your bad day?
Sure.
That's I don't know if that's how everyone's minds work. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but that's how my mind works.
Yeah, mine too.
And yeah, so it's just like I could never. I guess I can never say never, but as of right now, like, I don't know what to do if I ever have that feeling or that situation again. Eventually, it did go away. Like after, maybe like an hour and a half. Like I did a little bit of prayer.
Yeah.
It helped. It did.
Yep.
So, and there was a moment too, I thought like, well, maybe it was just kind of like, maybe it's just the devil messing with me or something. Like maybe this is like some evil that's trying to like mess with my head or something like that. Like, hey, Travis, you suck, right? Prayed a little bit. Listen to some. One of the things I did do. So the pharmacies in Mantino, which is just south of me, the town's just south of me. Once I got into the highway, I was halfway through Mantino and Piatone. I'm still feeling like this weird, like, okay, who can I call? There's no one to call. I almost called an ex-girlfriend. Like that's how desperate I was. Like maybe she'll make me feel better while she's saying like, why the hell are you calling me at my house with my husband and my children? And it's like, oh God, you're right, But
actually called to talk to your husband.
Right, yeah. Like you put him on, I want to see if him and I can relate. I went on to Spotify and I have this playlist on Spotify called God is Good. And it has a lot of Christian rock songs and stuff that I love. And I just started playing that, and that started making me feel better. And I started praying a little bit, and that started making me feel better. And I texted Ashley and I was like, hey, we're going to church on Sunday, right? And she said, yeah. And I said, cool. And she's like, yeah, she's like, you think I can bring the kids with? And I was like, yeah, why not? I have no problem with my niece and nephew going, absolutely.
Yeah, why not?
And we did, except from that moment, like I said, I got home and I still felt a little bit weird. I got home, I kept thinking about it and everything. And I just bought me and Ashley new Bibles. And I was just holding it, just kind of just like it's like I'm gonna be fine. Like this is gonna be fine, And then I did feel better. Like I say, I felt afterwards. I just kind of felt good.
Nice.
But it just worries me that once that comes around again, if it comes around again, I'm sure it will. Like, am I going to be able to find somebody to call? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Like I said, I think that was the thing that terrified me the most in that moment. It wasn't the feeling at that point. I think it just kind of moved on to like, it's like, hey, you have nobody. Even though I know it's a lie, at that moment it's like
it felt true.
Like I don't. There's not one person I could call that's going to the whole thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to share that. So makes me feel better when I can do that.
And I will say, like, you're not going to ruin my day if I'm having a good day. You're not going to make my day worse if I'm having a bad one.
Yeah.
Actually, if I'm having a bad day, it would make my day better to be able to focus on your problems.
I'm not alone.
Right? Yeah. If I'm having a good day, it's not going to hurt my feelings either, though. Like I am actually trained for some of this. I'm not a mental health professional, but like I'm close.
Well, that's why you're like, you were the third person that came to mind, right behind my mom, my dad, you,
right,
Ashley, Carl, Sherry. My grandma was kind of like down below the list, but I love her.
Yeah,
the problem. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I would say that being said, the other thing I would say is like that's one of my favorite parts about having a therapist who like is a long-term therapist. I've been working with the same person for it'll be 11 years in November.
Okay.
On and off, I think we took some big breaks when I was out east and stuff like that. But anyway, one, I pay her, so there's no like there's no burden on her
Mhm.
part because she's making money, right? And the other thing is there's something about um paying somebody to listen to your problems that makes it so that like there's no obligation. Like there, it's like I don't have to worry about ruining her good day or making her bad day worse because the only relationship we have is monetary.
Mhm.
It's her job to pick up the phone if I'm feeling weird
Yeah.
in between sessions, And so yeah, anyway, my regular shout out for therapy is great. You can usually some therapists will take insurance and that'll help a lot.
Mhm.
Some of them will do it where it's like they'll give you a bill and then you'll pay them up front. They'll give you a receipt. You take your receipt to the insurance reimburses you. A lot of them have what's called a sliding scale. So like if you call them up, you say, hey, the other day I was standing in line and I just felt really sad all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was alone. There's no one I could talk to. And so I need someone to talk to. I need someone who I can talk to in those situations.
Yeah.
And I need a sliding scale because my insurance is not going to cover it. Then they'll usually hook you up with somebody who, maybe they could charge if if you were like a really rich person or if you had really good insurance, they could charge $300 to $600 an hour. But because they're charging those people that, they're able to, when you call and say, hey, I need a sliding scale, they can say, great, I can do $30 an hour for you.
Yeah.
Which my lady has done a couple times for me. I think I pay her 75 now, but
God, see, man, I should have been a therapist.
not too late.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You don't need a doctorate to be a therapist. You need a doctorate to be a psychologist, right?
Correct.
Because psychologists could prescribe medication, therapists don't.
Correct.
I could. I'll probably have to figure out my own shit before I start trying to tell other people how to figure out theirs.
Yeah, that's
but
fair.
it's but yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the thing too. It's like, and I know we talked about it here on the show. Like I kind of opened my eyes and have more of an appreciation when it comes to therapy and stuff. Because I mean, I never really. I mean, I didn't always. It was just more of like. But I'm glad.
Oh
I
yeah,
did.
for
But
sure.
I
Well,
think
the people we grew up with, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
my mom. I'll say, hey, I was in therapy this week. This is what I talked about, and my mom will be like, oh God, you're still doing that?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, yeah, man, I'm a lot better than I used to be, but there's still
Mhm.
stuff to talk about all the time. And
Yeah.
until I really think until I'm out of this church, one way or the other, like I'm definitely going to need to be in therapy at least once a month.
Yeah.
Because like we're in a situation where we could either make it all the way back or it's hospice, and there's no in between,
Mhm.
right? And so it's like, and the thing with like with a person, hospice can last up to 6 months generally before they take you out and just put you in regular palliative care.
Yeah.
It's a weird like insurance issue thing, but an organization, it can take a lot longer to die. And so you never know, you
Yeah.
know. Anyway,
Well,
that's the thing I'm talking about in therapy a lot these days is like, when do I know it's time to walk away? And so far it hasn't been yet. So
walk away from therapy or walk away from the church.
from this church, yeah.
From this church, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, from the
So I love
conversations we've had, it sounds like you have a lot of work you want to accomplish first.
right. That's really what it comes down to. And
You've always, and I don't want to assume, you always seem like the kind of guy that's like leave it better than you found it kind of person.
yeah. And I think if I left right now, I absolutely would. But
Yeah.
I think it would still end up dying pretty quickly if I left because it's just such a challenge to find a new pastor.
Uh-huh.
And then like, I mean, well, it's taken 5 years to get them to trust me enough to put a new sign in. you know? Well, it took them 5 years to agree, and it's now the 6th year, and it's finally going in a couple weeks.
That's awesome. Electric sign or electronic sign?
A digital sign. Yep.
Nice. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I just Honestly, if the commute wasn't rough, I'd be at your church, 100%.
Appreciate that.
It's just for for the location, everything. It's just rough to get up there.
Oh,
But
for sure.
hopefully, when we start, well, not me, when you start up your podcast and everything, who knows? Maybe that'll kind of help draw more of a consistent crowd up to the church. Some new followers stuff, from listening to
That's
the
actually a pretty good
yeah.
reason for me to get on it, but I don't
Hmm.
know. I've got some normally I take a vacation after Easter.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I haven't yet this year. So it'll
'Cause you
probably be
can't find a
what
replacement. You can't find a temporary pastor to cover for you.
I can. Well, it's not that. It's more there's a couple of things I just want to see through before I feel like I can take a break. So for
Gotcha.
example, the sign, I really want the sign to be in. And I
Yeah.
want to know, like I would hate part of it is there's no certainty as to when it'll be here. Because it's like one of those things where once it's manufactured, they'll call us and say, "Hey, we'll be there next week." And so it's like, well, okay, I got to wait until next week is here, or I guess, once I know it's next week, then I could take this week. But, you can't just take a week off suddenly like that with ministry. It's just harder, especially as a solo pastor. It's just tough.
Yeah.
So
No,
I'm kind
I
of
get.
waiting for the school year to end because I'm helping out with the preschool.
Mhm.
So anyway, all that is to say, my first real vacation this year is probably going to be end of July. So,
There you go. Well,
yeah.
at least you get a little mini vacation with me in September when we head up to Iowa.
Yep.
God, I'm so excited, and
Looking
I don't
forward
know
to
if you
it.
had a chance to look at the new itinerary,
I haven't yet. Did you
but
email it to me or is it in Facebook?
so I emailed it to you.
Okay.
I think I sent you the most recent one. Um,
Geekcast
so
Joe or this freaking Joe?
this freaking Joe.
Okay.
For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, in September we're heading to Iowa to film cemetery vlogs, but everything's gonna be a little bit different in this one because we're not gonna drive through cemeteries anymore. We're gonna walk through small ones, and the bigger ones that we're only going for a specific thing.
Nice.
I think 4 of them have black angels. 3 of them. 3 of them have black. Or sorry, 2 have black angels. 1 has a blue angel, and 1 has a devil's chair.
Nice.
But on top of that, I mapped it out right because we're actually going for an extended. We're going for I think it was like 3 days, 2-night job.
Nice.
We're going to go to the Field of Dreams. We're going to a grotto dedicated to the Virgin Mary.
Nice.
We're going to the burial site of Herbert Hoover, and we're going to 2 separate burial sites of 2 different Native American chiefs.
Nice.
So we're gonna do all of that, and we're gonna hit a couple unique places to eat and stuff along the way. So I'm really excited to do that. I've been so excited about this. I started working on Ohio already because I think I already sent you that thing in Ohio I really want to do. That would be like a 1-day thing in itself.
Man, I forgot we didn't do Ohio already.
We haven't done Ohio yet. But here's the thing. So because Ohio, I mapped out to where we can actually get it done in like 2 days, like anywhere else. But if we wanted to do that one area where it was like basically a abandoned village that was like spread out throughout this forest and stuff, that's like an all-day thing.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah.
Where you can actually walk around. There's like an old church in there. There's an old like rail tunnel in there. And not only that, what's cool about the Ohio one is for the first time ever, we're gonna have to travel to an island to check out a cemetery.
Nice. That's
So,
dope.
yeah, we're gonna have to take a toll road that takes cash only, and I believe it's like $1. So, Ohio, I'm really excited for, but that's obviously 2026. We're not going to talk
Sweet.
about MCU tonight. Kind of getting a little bit towards the end here, so we'll save it for the season. We'll save it for the season premiere and everything.
Perfect.
I didn't know me talking. I didn't know me being sad was gonna be so lengthy, but I'm glad we did it. And that's one of the things I kind of love about doing the show and everything. The way we do it now, because I do believe like kind of like how you mentioned, like people are relatable to like these kind of feelings and situations and things that we're doing. And like I mentioned before, and I'll mention to you guys again. I think I actually said to Clint was on the show with us not too after probably a couple of years now. Timing for me sucks.
Yeah, time is weird.
Yeah. If you ever need to reach out to somebody, reach out. You know, like I know I promote the whole social media and stuff like that, but if you ever say to like, hey, I'm not feeling well, I just need someone to vent to, you know, message us on Facebook at This Freaking Show or email us at thisfreakinshow@yahoo.com. You know, just it's okay to reach out. You know, it's like I can't give you any professional advice. I can't help you from a professional standpoint, but I can definitely be an ear to bend. Somebody, if you just wanted to vent about something that's bothering you and stuff, like I have no problem being that person. That's why, like, I take pride in it. I haven't been as good as it recently, but I do apologize, but I'm going to get better at it. Is I try to respond to every single comment on every single one of our YouTube videos and stuff. So when people, except for the spammers, one person like sent like 8 messages in like one of our videos, and I was like, I mean, good for you, guy, but just stop doing that. But all the like real ones, like, even when there's like, oh my god, you went to a cemetery that my grandfather's buried at, and like stuff like that. Like, I like to give a response and stuff because people like to be heard, and it's like, why not? So,
yeah.
Joe, what are you freaking thinking about?
What am I freaking thinking about? I mean, I'm really excited about all of the stuff that's going on with my church. That like, I don't know, feels like could save us. Financially and stuff, and that feels good. Aside from that, in terms of things I'm actually like thinking about I mean, that's number one, obviously, but I don't know. We're at a season finale, so I feel like I'm thinking about a lot of things. I just finished Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It's been kind of my obsession this spring, and it's been great, really enjoying it. And I finished the main story, so there's some DLC that I'm going to play through, and that'll be fun, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. I did get to see Thunderbolts, so I'm pumped about that. Can't wait to talk about it on the next show.
Yeah, talk about that.
And I'm thinking about. I'm really excited for my wife. She finished her semester strong, two A's and an A in both her classes.
Yes.
And her December semester starts in like a week. So
awesome.
That's just how life is right now. So it's good. And before the show today, I was cleaning up my yard finally for the spring. So I'm feeling good about actually, frankly, I'd really let it go. I hadn't mowed it all yet this year, and so some of the grass was like up to my knees, and that was fine because of the pollinators. I just kept telling myself like, the bees need it. But we don't have a fence in our backyard, so like I'm starting to worry about getting fined by the city or whatever. So I was like, I better get it mowed before it rains. But yeah, so I mean, I really cleaned a bunch of stuff up today, and I feel really good about that. So yeah. Anyway, what about you? What are you freaking thinking
about? Honestly, I mean, well, other than the wife thing, because I'm sad and alone and miserable. Not too much off from what you were just talking about. I am taking a vacation at the end of May. I'm taking that whole week off like I do every year. And I know we're gonna record before that. We're gonna try getting back to weekly and stuff like that. But I'm excited because Jay and I have been talking about creating his web series that he wants to do. I'm excited to start up my web series that I want to do. Both of those should be starting at the end of May. I think I've talked to you about both of them, actually, now that I think about it. If you didn't, I'm going to remind you after I'm done recording, because I want those to be surprises for people. During that week, I'm also going to be working on my yard. Today was the first time since winter that I've actually walked into my backyard, and there's all these there's all these bald spots in my yard that I just see dirt, and I'm not quite sure what the hell happened there. So I'm kind of confused, but at the same time, I've never been a big yard person, so it doesn't bother me, but it does at the same time. Like my yard should not look like this right here. Something's not right. So I gotta figure that out. I've been going to church with Ashley. We've been doing that. We've done it 3 times since Palm Sunday. A couple weeks ago, we couldn't go because her daughter was sick, and last week we couldn't go because I wasn't feeling my best. But I think we found a church that we like. There's 2 of them we actually like going to. One's in Mantino that actually my cousins go to. And then there's the one in town that I've been kind of watching live streams on and stuff like that. So her kids are actually gonna go to Sunday school at the one in Piatone while we're at church. And then once in a while we're gonna go to the one in Mantino too. So
Nice.
I've been happy about that. Outside of, you, none of my siblings are, churchgoers, big into church. I don't really talk about God with anyone really but you, but it's cool to kind of have this conversation with Ashley now, and kind of like when you see her at church and you kind of see her having like those like moments like in songs, like in like there's some verses where like it kind of hits her, and like there are moments like when like you see like the pastor talking, like it's almost kind of like one of those aha moments, like light bulb going off kind of moments and stuff. And
Nice.
like she'd ask me questions. She asked me a question. It puzzled me for a minute because I honestly didn't know the answer. But she's like, "Who wrote the Bible?" And the only answer I gave was like, "People." I mean,
Yep. That's the answer.
It's people who were with Jesus through his, they were witnesses to the things in the Bible, and that's why
for the New Testament. Yeah. Oh yeah. When you say for the things in the Bible, yes.
And
well,
then and then I was telling her like the Bibles we have, which I don't know if it's the same in every Bible. I know it's in the Bible that I got us, which I got to get different Bibles. I bought her King James. I bought her and I the King James version of the Bible, but I should have bought the English Standard version of the Bible because following it, I'm kind of like, as much as I respect the King James version of it, I think English Standard versions would be more followable for me,
Yeah.
So, as much as I love my Bible, I'm gonna, I definitely get a secondary one that I could read better. Anyways, maybe go back to the King James one after, so we started doing this challenge. So for 21 days, she wakes up and I wake up. We pray for 5 people and read a chapter of the Bible.
Nice.
So I'm on day 3 of that. So I just started at the beginning. I just went with Genesis, and I'm just going to continue on from after day 21. But it's a good feeling, and the one thing I could say positively about the guy she married, who I'm not saying he's a good guy now. I'm saying he has promise. He agreed and allowed Ashley to rebaptize their son because they kind of baptized him into a religion just to appease his parents, not for any other reason. And good, but no, if Ashley, I think if Ashley wants to rebaptize her son in a religion that they're going to be more consistently a part of, for the parents are happy with it, then I think go for it. So
sure,
she's only good doing that. But I just like the fact that she seems a little more at peace with burdens and struggles and stuff now that we've been going to church, and that's been a huge part of helping her, but also kind of helping me. I haven't been as committed and good with the dieting and health. But I know that come my birthday, that week, I know that it's going to be kind of a starting point for me as far as getting better health-wise. Like it needs to be at this point. It's not a want, it's a necessity at this point. I got my blood work done again and everything was normal except for my T count and something else that I never should have Googled. because the moment I Googled it, it obviously points to cancer, just like everything else does.
Yeah, of course, everything does.
It's always cancer. So I'm just like, I'm not. It alarms me, but I'm not going to worry about it because that's the worst case scenario. So, come my birthday week, the necessity is to it's just to be better, a better version of me. And that's going to include doing the yard work, getting everything cleaned up, being more active through that, get my garage together to get into woodworking and to get that hobby going again. And honestly, just try to be an all around more active and out person. Church on Sunday, some of my family friends, the YouTube vlog, not the vlog, but the YouTube shows I'm going to be doing not only with Jay, but what I want to do as far as the bar thing. And I want to incorporate Freakin Studios people into that. There's a couple of people from the Lovely Intoxicated podcast who one in particular is really excited about it and kind of wants to do it with me. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like that's what Freakin Studios is us to collaborate together and work on things. So obviously I'm going to do stuff with you. No worry, we're going to go drink at bars. It's going to be awesome. And I'm going to do stuff with them too and try to do what we can to get more content out onto YouTube because the cemetery vlogs are still getting us viewers and stuff. And I appreciate you guys who are over on YouTube subscribing to us and still watching those and still commenting on vlogs we did years ago in Wisconsin. I appreciate everything you guys are doing for us over there. But I feel blessed. Like this whole month has just been one blessing after another. And I just want the progression to kind of move from there. So
nice. Glad to hear
that. Hey Joe.
Yeah.
While you sit there frozen in time.
Oh, am I frozen?
Yeah, but it's cool. We're about to wrap up. Every week our listeners catch Cartoon Joe here on this freaking show. But if an hour Cartoon Joe just isn't enough for our listeners, where can they go?
If you need more Cartoon Joe, you can find me over at the Geekcast Live podcast at violentpress.com. You can also find us on Facebook, iTunes, Spotify, and Twitter, or Blue Sky, I guess, by searching Geekcast Live.
Excellent. Guys, make sure you follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just by searching this freaking show. If you're listening to us, continue to listen to us wherever you're listening. Just make sure you subscribe, give a rating. It helps us out. If you want to watch the podcast, you can do so over at the Freakin Studios YouTube channel. While you're over there, hit the notification bell and hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to us, because one day we'd like to be monetized on YouTube. It just shows that hey, we're doing it. So,
right,
guys, that's all I got. As always, I'm Travesty,
and I'm Cartoon Joe,
and we'll catch you next season of this freaking show. I'm out.